10 years ago, there was a group of criminals in Japan who specialized in using guns to rob supermarket. When the police received the news and rushed over, it was too late. A girl, 3 children had been brutally murdered, killing a young police officer. I broke down and cursed myself. If I had come earlier, they wouldn't have ended up like this. Moreover, that unfortunate girl was the lover of this tattooed man named Sue for 10 years. In the past, he silently become a hellish go-to. Avenge his girlfriend. Every time he sent an evil person from the past to the altar to look at a naked chicken, he tattooed a mark on his hand to remind himself to live well today. Sue went to the chicken farm because there was the last bastard here and he needed to pick up his body. He was about to use a sneak attack, but he quickly dodged it, punched him without missing a beat, then threw a 7-arm attack to help him. The other party will soon meet his ancestors and solve the problem. The last name So picked up the phone and called the police to clean up the scene. He didn't want to live this anymore, so he agreed to surrender. When the crime team heard the news, they immediately heard the news, took the male lead to an abandoned factory to negotiate with the police chief, who offered to clear all of So crime and give him a new life. But in exchange he had to words as an undercover agent to infiltrate a Yakuza gang called Ton to help. He destroyed this group of dark society. Years ago, the 5th generation leader of Tosoki was suddenly assassinated, so an internal struggle occurred between the expelled family and the Kyuzoji Kato family, even though there was up to 7,000 members, but were more peaceful and did not like killing because the fighting was too fierce. So the police were forced to support the Kyuzo family to become the leader of the 6th generation, and then they opened a financial company, Mafia, to formalize business deals, but not long after. The 6th generation leader was hacked by the deporters until the grass grew green, so the Tosoki gang continued to elect a 7th generation leader. However, this election had many surprises when the person chosen was not a famous person in society, but the handsome secretary Yoshitaka, who continued to follow her family policy, traveling but supporting overseas expansion. He established many gangs abroad specializing in trading heroin and prohibited goods such as elephant recliners or rhino horns. The police chief wanted some to infiltrate the organization, Ton from these foreign gangs. Namchin intended to join the group led by the football boss. However, the police did not agree because he was too crazy and the ability to get along between the two was less than 10 minutes, so he suggested that Sogo join a gang run by a crazy dog in Bangkok. He has a sad past when his parents were murdered by cult followed. This is the common points that help Sogo win the sympathy of his opponent. His job is to help Gayo defeat the opposing gang and climb to a higher position in the Tosoki organization. 1 year later, the male lead and dog Gayo are brothers. The two are both friend and teacher and have become a couple. One day, the gang most famous assassin received a mission to deal with the leader of the opposing gang. At this time, he was being lured by their insider to abandoned hotel to trade hell dogs, and the hell dog suddenly appeared. He quickly cut off the leader limbs. He panicked and fell to the ground, begging for his life, but the stupid dog had no mercy and best him to death. After completing the mission, Sogo called to report to the godfather, Tiki, who was in the 2nd positron in the Yakuza organization. Tosoki heard that and the godfather immediately happily helped a party to entertain his juniors, even though there was still one more person to be purged. But let have fun first and think about it later. End of the party. Male main character together with the godfather, he went to find the 3-headed monster. They fed the birds with bran and the crazy dog went to meet an old friend. After a few greeting, they directly took each other home to exchange puzzles over there. Sogo goes for a massage not just to relax, but because the masseuse is an undercover police officer who specializes in receiving information from him. He was happy when his godfather called and said he had important intelligence, so he wanted the male lead to come over there quickly. Tiki lover, Kisa, has investigated the final enemy of the Tosoki organization. Currently, Tanaka is hiding in Longin, the United States. He and the Deep Society they're colluded to do many illegal fibs. These guys are skilled, super killing ability, and not afraid of collision, so the godfather want Hell Dog and Goose Dog to protect leader Yoshitaka, because the two of them are the best assassins under Tiki. Sogo it seems like he doesn't want to accept this mission. Kisa showed an extremely mysterious smile. Could it be that there was something between the two of them? Sure enough, after reporting the mission to the police chief, a strange woman suddenly appeared in his house. It turned out to be her. Kisa took the initiative to take off her shirt and approach, but the male lead still insisted on holding the bird. The next morning was the bodyguard recruitment session for the head of the toy organization. The 4 selected top assassin would wear bulletproof vests and line up. As soon as the whistle blew, Yoshitaka immediately turned around and opened fire, causing everyone to fall to the ground in pain. This was a test if they were shot, what they would do to protect their leader with their strong will. Sogo and Goose Dog tried to rise up and defeat the remaining 2. They successfully became Yoshitaka official bodyguard and were taken to his office. While talking to the secretary, they both discovered that they were just novice. It's just that the leader also has another group of elite guards. Sue and the crazy dog came here just to give that group of elite time to rest, and the two of them were not allowed to meet and interact with them, when I was just a reserve. But the secretary told him that the elite group only needed to look at their movement to know what gun the opponent was using. At that moment, the signal light in the secretly room lit up. This is the way team calls people. After walking around for a while, they finally reached Yoshitaka's room for the first time. When they met the leader, Shogo felt that he was completely different from what he imagined because Yoshitaka is not the socially inept type, specialize in doing bad things or stabbing for hire. Before that, there was a girl who was set on fire and murdered by a bad guy like my furry old man, but the court did not sentence the murderer to death. This made Yoshitaka extremely angry. He immediately sent his subordinates to deal with that bastard. Even though he had the highest power, he was different from other Yakuza men. Yoshitaka lived a very disciplined life. Every day, in addition to discussing normal business matters, he came here, the museums, to view works of art. Thursday Lawn Villa always has at least 10 bodyguard on duty. This place also prohibits all women from entering or leaving. This makes Dog suspect that the owner is a yin and yang person who only liked to play music. That night, while meeting with the police chief, he told Shogo not to act hastily. What he heard from the driver was probably because Yoshitaka was trying to scout out the new recruits. The mission he assigned him was to find an opportunity to assassinate leader and took documents from his identity. Currently, the police do not dare to arrest Yoshitaka because in his hands there is evidence of the crime of many high-ranking officials if they touch him. Those officials will not leave him alone, so this needs to be done in secret. At the same time, the police chief also took out an artificial finger and said that it had the leader fingerprint hidden on it. While the crazy dog and his girlfriend were gathering with family members of the victim who were harmed by that cult group, they formed an association to help each other. Among them was a girl who was the child of a woman who was murdered by a robber in a supermarket 10 years ago. She said told everyone that lately LVE been receiving money every month from a mysterious person, and one time that person even left a message that all the perpetrators had to pay the price after contacting the kids' families. When the child was harmed, they said they also encountered the same things, so she guessed that the mysterious person was the police office who managed the area in the past. Shogo, most people don't believe in this seemingly fictional story, but stupid dogs believe it. That the police officer had committed dozens of crimes by dealing with all those bad people. On the other hand, the male lead was waking in the cool air when a former colleague recognized her and loudly called Shogo, causing many people to turn around and look. But Nam writes after entering the deep social path. He changed his name and last name so he couldn't stay here, so he hastily left, and instead this scene was witnessed by the fat guy in the gang who while looking for a girl the next day. Yoshitaka there was a party with Dao children from Quatlam too because of the difficult economic situation, so they had to go to Tokyo, Japan. At this time, a girl stood up to invite the leader to drink but suddenly was stopped by Shogo. He suspecting that she was an assassin sent by Takana, she forced the other person to drink that glass of wine. Sure enough, she immediately appeared in her true form holding a knife to attack him, even though she was brave and quite agile. The female assassin still couldn't do anything first, Sue absolute strength. He wrestled her to the ground and punched her until she fainted on the scene, so she was taken away by Yoshitaka to force her to confess. This the darkest place in the Tosak organization that only high-ranking members know about. At this time, the female assassin was stripped of all her clothes and hung upside down in front of the leader, but no matter how much she was tortured, she still refused to confess a word. So they wanted to destroy the female assassin spirit by the most cruel ways to see how long she can last. It extremely dangerous, because there aren't many security guards here. Calling 500 brother to came would take at least an hour to arrive, while Tanaka assassin have already arrived at the door. They could only rely on the two bodyguards, Sue and the dog Gayo. They teamed up to attack them. Any more who rushed in would be picked up on the altar to look at the naked chicken. They were able to successfully help Yoshitaka keep her. However, during the battle, the secretary of the guild was shot and killed by assassin. The next day, everyone held a ceremony for the secretary. At the same time, the leader and senior members also elected a new secretary for the guild. Unexpectedly, the chosen one was the main male lead of Shogo. Even the big guy, who specialized in acting abroad, the slick guy, couldn't believe his eyes. He heard the fat guy report that the hell dog was most likely a Shogo police officer's 10 years ago before and suspected that he was the underground snake because there was no real evidence, so the shadow could only come to threaten him. But when he saw his brothers being bullied, the stupid dog immediately appeared and pushed the shadowy guy down with his head on the ground. Then he went into the bathroom and punched him so much that his profile picture broke and he dared to touch my brother. He panicked and said the hell dogs were the police Sue, but he didn't believe it. He even threw it away. The opponent went down the stairs and chanted at the same place. His subordinates saw that and immediately attacked the dog to avenge the big brother. The two fought from inside the house to the street until the male lead ran to the place and took care of him. After that, because the juniors was in a new position, Sue could only tell the stupid dog to run away from the pursuit of his brilliant subordinates while he stayed to find a way to help him escape from his reckless action just now because killing a high-ranking figure in the guild would be a very serious crime. One day the police chief came to the male lead house to remind him about the last mission, but at this moment Kisa suddenly walked out, causing him to immediately react and point his gun at him. Shogo also pointed the gun back and threatened if the police chief pulled the trigger, he would not forgive him. Who would have thought that Kisa would say that Sogo is also a snake deep? Turns out she was arranged by the police chief to be a snake grandmother a long time ago. Yoshitaka fingerprints were also taken by her at the same time that the Hell Dog escaped the pursuit and confirmed that the Hell Dog was Sogo the policeman 10 years ago. On the other side, the police chief decided to close the net. Sogo was in charge of if you kill the Kiss leader, you will kill the Godfather Tiki. And the massage will pick up the body of the masked tactician because she often gives him a massage, so she can easily go inside and send the enemy back to the western region. Kisa action had a bit of a problem because the Godfather discovered that she and Sogo had cheated on him, so he attacked her first. I pushed Kisa to the ground and tried to strangle the beauty to death, but she immediately reached and injured Poison. However, as soon as the Godfather was brought to his final resting place, Wild Dogs came to the other side. The main character, who was the secretary, started taking action against the security group. He hid a gun under his desk. It was easy. After killing them, he went straight to the leader room, intending to destroy Yoshitaka, but he suddenly took out evidence from the corrupt officials. He couldn't have guessed that the leader of the guild was also an inside. Yoshitaka accepting the government deceit, he became a genuine Yakuza. At this time, the supreme leader wanted Sue to claim the title of martial arts leader with him, but the male lead immediately refused, so the two rushed to each other and had an unfinished exchange. The 5 tigers pounced and turned back to Tian'ong to pick the island. Finally, Yoshitaka had his neck broken by Sogo and logged out on the spot. He thought everything was over, but the male lead discovered that the stupid dog was pointing a gun at Kisa, threatening him to choose him. I often choose. Sogo didn't need much time to immediately shoot and kill the stupid dog. He no longer wanted this sinful life anymore, but right when Sogo was about to make a move, Kiss rushed to stop him and love her words helped the male lead escape the torment of his inferiority complex. This is the end of the movie. Hello, and see you again everyone.